right, good morning. Sorry for the delay this morning with session starting at 10 o'clock. We had another event this morning, and so apologize. We will begin this morning's session with Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, February is Black History Month, and in celebration of and observance of Black History Month, we have a few guests with us this morning, community leaders and representatives with the local chapter of the National Pan-Hellenic Council. They're here this morning for a historic and community legacy overview. Please welcome Ms. Nakia Mack Fuller, Financial Secretary for the Council, and the member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. She has also been very active and helpful with our JFS department with the Step Up to Quality initiative, and I want to say thank you for all of your efforts in that regard.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
To the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. Again, my name is Nakia, Financial Secretary for the National Pan-Hellenic Council. And I'm just going to give you a little bit information about the Columbus NPHC and our Divine Nine. So why are we here? I'm going to turn this way because that's far. So May 10th, 1930, on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., the NPHC established an era when Greek letter organizations founded by African Americans were banned from being affiliated with Greek letter organizations founded by white Americans. And you can understand the climate during the time in the 1900s. There was the Jim Crow laws, the Ku Klux Klan. So this was a way for them to get together. So the mission is thought and action as far as possible in the conduct of Greek letter collegiate fraternities and sororities, and to consider problems of mutual interest to its members and organizations. And then our purpose is the council promotes interaction through forums, meetings, and other mediums for the exchange of information, and engages in cooperative programming and initiatives through the various activities and functions. So Divine Nine, there are 5 fraternities and 4 sororities, and each promotes community awareness and action through educational, economic, and cultural service activities. And we do a lot of that here in the community in Columbus, Ohio. And this is a list of the chapters of the Divine Nine that are located in Columbus, Ohio. So we actually have 14 chapters. And we are all out there working for community service. That's our first thing that we do. We focus on service. We focus on serving the community, and we focus on getting everyone together. And these are all of the 14 chapters that are active under the NPHC here in Columbus, Ohio. So we do contribute to Franklin County, as you all know. The AKAs, Alpha Kappa Alpha, they have a lead program that is Learn, Empower, Advocate, and Decide on Legislative, Public, Policy, and Social Justice issues. Kappa Alpha Psi has their annual turkey giveaway, and I had the opportunity to participate in that. They gave away over 1,000 turkeys in the community, and they also assisted with sides to make a complete dinner, and also fresh fruits for them. Phi Beta Sigma Blue and White School Supply Giveaway. A lot of the organizations do have school drives. We have them twice a year, every year, and we provide those supplies for students in need. Zeta Phi Beta has their From Girls to Pearls Rites of Passage program in collaboration with Council Member Priscilla Tyson, Commission on Black Girls. They also have Breakfast with the Artists, Scholarship Fundraiser. There's a lot of scholarship fundraisers that we provide for the community, for students who want to go to college, maybe first time generation, or those who are just seeking that higher education. Sigma Gamma Rho Capacity Coaching at the Dow Education Center, which is a part of the Homeless Families Foundation serving students in the Franklinton area. I know Sigma Gamma Rho, my particular chapter, we do go out to the homeless shelter. We also cook ourselves and take food to them. Sometimes they have to eat the same thing every day. And we'd like them to have a variety, and we like them to feel warm and loved and welcome. And that's all I have for you. That was a quick presentation, but thank you for listening. But that's a little bit about National Panhandling Council, and we are here to serve, and we will continue to serve.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We don't miss a chance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Definitely thought. Oh, thank you very much.
All right. We also have with us this morning some real grassroots leaders here in the community. We have a resolution for each of them in support of all the efforts that they've undertaken in healthy, strong, and resilient local food system in some of our underserved neighborhoods. Back in 2016, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners and the City of Columbus established, excuse me, a list of common goals. We wanted to see our residents and schools and community organizations have better access to healthy foods. These folks that we're about to meet have been the leaders in that area. Our team at Economic Development and Planning is going to tell us more about this. Brian?
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate both of you. You've been stalwart supporters of this plan since it was adopted in 2016. The Local Food Champion Award, which is why we're here today, is given out by the Franklin County Local Food Council, as well as the Columbus and Franklin County Local Food Board. This award recognizes and celebrates grassroots community efforts that support the Local Food Action Plan's vision of a fair and sustainable food system that benefits our economy, our environment, and all people. I'm honored to introduce a couple of people here. Tony Logan, the chair of the Columbus and Franklin County Local Food Board, as well as Ariel Miller, who is the chair of the Franklin County Local Food Council. After their brief remarks, I'll introduce the local food champions. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a couple of other local food board members here. Corey Meadows with OSU Extension, also Ty Marsh with SWACO.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioners Brown and O'Grady. Good morning. I'm Tony Logan, and I currently serve as the chair of the Columbus and Franklin County Local Food Board, and we're gratified to be here today to recognize this year's local food champions. Our local food board is one of only a handful across the country where policymakers both at the municipal and county levels have come together to combine forces to provide for seamless promotion and support of local foods businesses and growers throughout the region. This results in additional food-related jobs and greater access to healthy foods for people of all economic stations. Also, working with SWACO and Ty Marsh, who sits on our board, we're finally starting to tackle the stubborn problem of food waste in our community. Partnering with us in this mission is the Franklin County Local Food Policy Council. I'd like to invite Ariel Miller to come forward and say a few remarks. Ariel?
Thank you, Tony. Hello, my name is Ariel Miller. I chair the Franklin County Local Food Council. For those of you who are not familiar with us, our group has been around since 2011. We're the only group in the community that consistently is bringing together stakeholders from throughout the food system. So that's everything from processing and manufacturing to food security and growers. We bring people together for the sake of networking as well as for educating about just the wide variety of work that is happening. Sometimes people are doing work that's overlapping and they don't realize it. Sometimes they realize that there are new gaps to be met after meeting people and talking to them at the food council meetings. We engage a little bit in advocacy work as well, and we've been involved heavily in the local food action plan since its inception. We've had the support of both of you, I think, since we got founded in 2011. And we continue to be involved with the local food action team and with the board, both through implementation of the plan, but also with this local food champion award. So we partner with them each quarter to choose from a handful of nominations for the champion, and then we co-present those. And with us today, we have the awardees from the last year. We really appreciate having us all here to help us celebrate the grassroots work that's happening in the Food Council. It doesn't always get lifted up and celebrated as much as it should. And of course, we appreciate your continued support of building a robust and resilient food system in Central Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony and Ariel. The first local food champion I want to introduce is Highland Youth Garden. And representing Highland Youth Garden is Beth Urban, who is the board president of the Highland Youth Garden. While Beth comes up here, I'll talk briefly about Highland Youth Garden. They were awarded the Local Food Champion Award for providing access to and education about healthy, local, and affordable food through their exceptional garden and garden education programs in the Hilltop community. Highland Youth Garden serves over 350 youth with 2 part-time staff members and a network of 500 volunteers. Beth Urban.
Thank you. We're really honored to be selected as a local food champion. We have changed our numbers a little bit. I'm going to say that we're up to now serving over 500 youth per year in our half-acre garden. It's very exciting what we're able to do. Last summer, we were also a workforce development site. We hired 9 teens who work the whole summer in the garden, and we've provided year-round employment for 4 of those teens. They're now in charge of running our after-school program. So we're also very excited. Some of the people behind me, Teresa's on the board, and Rachel, I can't tell you how excited I am about Rachel. She is our newly hired executive director, and as a volunteer board president, that changes my world a whole lot. So we're very excited to have her on with us. So thank you for this honor. We continue to do great work. We grow almost 4,000 pounds of food on the hilltop and provide education to our surrounding community and multiple schools, daycares, and anybody we can get our hands on over there. So thank you.
Yeah, there's going to be a few pictures here. Apologies. Okay. Our next local food champion is Dr. Timothy McDermott, who we just call Tim, but want to give all his formalities there. Tim is an agriculture and natural resources educator for OSU Extension Franklin County. Dr. McDermott received the Local Food Champion Award for his impactful work assisting urban farmers throughout Franklin County neighborhoods to grow food for both their family and the broader community. Tim?
Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Brown, so good to see you again. I'd like to say I'm tremendously honored by this award. I consider it a wonderful recognition of what we're trying to do in the community. I want to say I'm very honored to be included with these other local food champions as well. I know all of them and I know all of the work that they do, and that reflects very well on our community. I would like to thank you for your ongoing support of Extension. Without your support, we would not be able to engage with the community the way that we do out in the neighborhoods. And I want to let you know that I'm going to continue to work on behalf of the Local Food Action Plan, using food as a tool. And I'm going to investigate ways of using food to address the addiction plan that was recently put out as well, because food is a powerful tool to impact folks' lives in a positive manner. Thank you so much.
All right, our next local food champion is Nick Stanich, former executive director of Franklinton Farms. Nick received the Local Food Champion Award for his role in improving access to and education about healthy and local and affordable food in Franklinton, one of the most vulnerable, underserved neighborhoods in Franklin County. Nick?
Commissioners Brown and O'Grady, thank you so much for supporting this movement. I've been involved in it for maybe 10 years in Columbus, and it's really grown in the last decade. Just the last couple of years, seeing the local food council spring up with the city and county support based off the food action plan. It's been a huge sort of catalyst for getting some momentum here, some recognition for the work that all of us are doing around transforming our communities into a more food secure, beautiful sort of food environments. Deeply honored to be here with everyone receiving this award. So many in this audience, I've worked with over the last decade, and really excited to continue just engaging in the sort of transformative food work that we do. One thing, as a small grassroots initiative, we are constantly trying to understand how to seek support, how to gain support across the philanthropic community, the government communities, the business communities, and we would just be so grateful for the opportunity to meet with Commissioners Brown and O'Grady down at Franklinton Farms, so we can show you what we do and better understand how we can sort of build on opportunities with county funding streams. So Teddy and Rebecca are our new directors. Let's give them a quick round of applause. Teddy, Rebecca Brown, they're our neighbors, the third iteration of leadership from our neighborhood leading this grassroots organization. So thank you so much.
All right, our next local food champion is Monique McCoy, Community Access Coordinator for Local Matters. Monique received the Local Food Champion Award for her work championing the Veggie Van, a food access and education initiative that serves as a mobile grocery and classroom, providing discounted food and education to targeted neighborhoods throughout Franklin County. Monique?
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you, Commissioners, for this honor. I'm very honored, and I take it very humbly that the work that I do is just rightfully giving people something that they need every day, which is food and access. So every time I load the van and unload the van and serve people with dignity by setting up baskets and setting it up as a farmer's market in the areas that are least served in our community, I deem it an honor. It's not just a job, it's literally a ministry to go forth and have people come to you and tell you what their needs are and be able to meet those needs one individual at a time, one family at a time. I am a single mom here in the city of Columbus. My mother was one that she cleared out her own space in a field one day and started a huge garden, and it fed a lot of people on our street. I worked tobacco till I was 16 years old in the fields of North Carolina. And for us to get French fries, you had to go out and dig up your potatoes, bring them in, wash them, cut them up, and then fry them. So it's not like it is right now where you go to the store and get that frozen bag. But I just want to let you know that I come from a family that this has been something that we've been doing. And even when you think that you're not listening, I'm sure my grandfather saying they were listening, because it's all about impacting other people's lives. And I think every food champion here, you're doing that. And even in your weariness, know that you're impacting a life and you're changing a life by just doing something positive, by someone not going to bed hungry that night. So I thank you and deem it a privilege and an honor. So thank you once again.
All right, and last but not least is Terry Traster. Terry Traster is the Facilities Director for ECDI for their food fort. Terry received the Local Food Champion Award for his work coaching small and startup food businesses who create and increase access to food and drive our local economy here in Franklin County. Terry?
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioner O'Grady and Commissioner Brutt, and the rest for recognizing the work that ECDI and the Food Fort does. This award reinforces the importance of economic development and equality for our county. The Local Food Champion Award not only spotlights what ECDI and the Food Fort does, but it shines a light on the work that Franklin County Food Council and the local food board and the county's commitment to economic development through the food economy. This award gives us inspiration to keep doing our work in the future. We'll continue to focus on both the entrepreneurs and the service industry employees. We'll expand our kitchen space to allow more entrepreneurs to start and grow their business for a more equitable county. We hope to work with producers more to help scale up and create more jobs in our regional food economy. Along with business support, we are going to continue to work with the food service workers. We'll expand programming to help raise wages of some of the most vulnerable populations of our county. I would like to invite all of you and your staff to come out and take a tour of ECI's campus and see firsthand the hard work we do. Thank you again for taking the time to recognize the importance of the food economy in our community.
All the local food champions, come on up. Cheryl and Delisa, you want to come up too? Come on up, come on up. More than merrier. We're gonna have to double stack.
Can you stand in front of one another so we can get a tighter shot?
Perfectly timed to say cheese.
This is well said.
Thank you so much.
Be around. Got a lot of projects.
Thank you.
I don't like them either. But when they're hot, they're hot. That's what she said. So, oh, everybody's leaving. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here today. We've been doing a lot of good work with a lot of those folks as everybody leaves for a lot of years. And so, yes, all those invites, Kevin, I'll tell you since you're here, all those invites for folks to come see their gardens or see their facilities. I've been to ECDI, I've been to Highland Gardens, I've been to all those places, but it's time to go back. It's been a while since I've been to the food fort. And so it's time to go back. But that's a lot of really great work. Tony, thank you for leadership, the food, with the Food Council and the Food Action Plan.
This would not have happened without your leadership as well, Commissioner O'Grady. You were the one that really got us started doing this work with the great grassroots leaders in the community and with Tony and with Morpsey. So I think that has to be said. It was your leadership on this board that really got us on this journey. So thank you for that.
Well, it started a long time ago. It started a lot longer
I
than
know.
2016. I mean, it started way back when I first became a commissioner.
I know.
And, you know, it kind of all kind of fell together. It started way back when, and a lot of great people over the years, and a lot of good people, Tony and Ty, and
A lot of hard
you
work.
know, a lot of people, great people in Jim's shop, and
Yeah.
you know, Jim was very helpful way back in the beginning with pulling a lot of things together, and there was just, you know, one thing after another. Matt Brown's in the back. Matt was very helpful. There was just a whole bunch of people. My office, my staff, over the years, Lauren Rummel, way back to Kevin Griffith, for God's sakes, way
Yeah.
back in the beginning. Just a lot of different people, you know, both in the office and outside the office, and you know, a lot of conversations in all over the state of Ohio, all over the country with, and it just kind of all came together. And Brian's been leading this effort in Jim's shop for the last 3 or 4 years, and he's done a fantastic job
Yeah.
for the county. Cheryl Graffinino was here from the city today. She leads the effort out of public health for the city of Columbus, and Priscilla Tyson's my counterpart with the city of Columbus. And so there's been a lot of great work, but you know, you've been there the entire time, and you've been very supportive. Commissioner Brooks back in the day, Commissioner Boyce now. Everybody's been very, very supportive, as has county administration. So economic development and planning, everybody's been fantastic about it. And it went from, as I always say to my staff, it went from, you know, a couple $1,000s in the beginning just to get, you know, just to get water hooked up in a garden.
I know.
To now we're impacting millions of dollars in grants. And
And
so,
people's lives, you know?
Yeah.
It's about the lives we're changing, but it would not have happened without your leadership. And I think that just needed to be said, because
appreciate
it
it.
does take a lot of people working together. But I don't think we would have had the attention placed on it without that. So I think that was important to mention.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's, you know, you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta feed people, so.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on now. We have one more presentation before we move on with the agenda, and that is, we have our, the Executive Director of our Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio, Ty Marsh, is with us today. He's an important community partner and a community leader. Welcome, Ty. So we're eager to hear more about what's been going on down at SWACO, and what the community can look forward to in this year in terms of solutions for the solid waste in Central Ohio. So thanks for being here with us today, Ty.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. Thank you so much for this invitation to give you an update on SWACO, the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio. Before I start with my presentation, I want to acknowledge the 2 board members of our 9-member Board of Trustees who are representing the county. Both the county commission president by statute is a member of our board, so Commissioner O'Grady is a member, and he is designated as his proxy Deputy Administrator Eric Janis, who serves on our board, as well as Ken Wilson, County Administrator, is a board member of ours as well. The mission at SWACO is to improve the community solid waste stream through effective reduction, recycling, and safe disposal. Our role in reality is really the preservation and advancement of public health and safety. If we do not handle the waste stream correctly, it can create an environmental hazard. So we're very mindful of that within our mission. And as we do that, we're advancing a broader vision for the community that is a community that's environmentally safe and resourceful. And starting this, let's first look at the waste stream indicators. What's happening in our waste stream in Franklin County? And this slide really gives you some of our challenges as well as some of the advancements we've made. If you look on the far left, you'll see that the amount of waste generated in Franklin County in 2018 was 2.5 million tons per year. Keeping in mind that 60% of that is generated from the commercial industrial sector and 40% is residential. That's an astounding increase of 51% over the past 5 years. There are two primary reasons for that. One is a red-hot economy. As the economy continues to grow, as more businesses open, as more jobs are created, therefore more waste is being generated by those processes. And the second is the population increase growth in Franklin County, which I'm going to address in just a second. But there's no doubt that more people in a strong economy are buying more and thus disposing more. So 51% is not what we'd like to see, but it's also an indicator of the economic health of the county. You would presume that most of that would go into the landfill, and the good news, sort of, is that only 25% of that was generated has gone to the landfill, which is 1.27 tons per year. And the reason why that number is less is because if you look in the far right, we've had a 93% increase in the amount diverted from the landfill. And diversion means recycling, composting, yard waste. So Franklin County is seeing a tremendous increase in the waste being diverted. Let's talk for a second about the impact of population growth on the landfill. If you take MORPS's numbers of a projection of 1 million new residents by the year 2050 and you extrapolate that to Franklin County, we're expecting 450,000 additional people in Franklin County by the year 2050. We estimate that based on our current projections, that would result in 3.1 million tons of waste being generated, up from the 2.5, which is an increase of 24% or 600,000 additional tons created annually. If you extrapolate that to what goes into the landfill, that's actually 1.7 million tons, which is an increase of 33%. What this slide really emphasizes is how important it is to continue to manage and improve our waste stream through the most sustainable methods possible, such as recycling and composting. What are we going to do about it? What's SWACO's plan? Well, we've got a 3-point strategic plan that is focused on disposal, diversion, and carbon footprint. For the carbon footprint, this is where we want to reduce our own carbon footprint. For us to be a credible resource in all things recycling, we have to walk the walk ourselves, and so that's why that element is in here. But for today, I'm going to focus on the two elements of disposal and diversion, and we'll start with disposal. So the Franklin County Sanitary Landfill now has 43 years of life left in it at the current rate of disposal. We actually, and this is for 2018, we expect that to actually drop 2 years when the 2019 comes out because the amount going in there is increasing. This seems like a lot of years, but in reality it's not. We're much more fortunate than other landfills that only have 5 or 10 or 15 years of life. We actually were able to boost this up to 43 years by 2 years ago getting a new permit from Ohio EPA to expand the landfill. As you may know or remember, expanding landfills it's a contentious public process. In other public landfills, there have been protests, there have been lawsuits, there has been seeking remedy from the General Assembly to prevent it. We are proud to report to you, Commissioners, that our permit was approved without hardly any opposition. We only had one community oppose it. We had environmental groups support it. We had different groups out there in advancing, feeling that we are operating that in a environmentally safe and efficient manner, and therefore they support that expansion. And so that's part of our strategic goal, making sure that we are operating efficiently and effectively. We have two measurements to share with you today as to why we think we're doing the job. The first is the number of employees at SWACO today is the same number of employees that were employed 7 years ago. We actually had dipped in our employees when we did our operations review. We eliminated a lot of positions. But notwithstanding the amount of waste that we're dealing with, notwithstanding the programs I'm going to talk to you about, we are efficiently operating with the same number of employees that we had 7 years ago. Second, if we are not doing our job correctly and we're creating environmental problems, the Ohio EPA will issue us a notice of violation to say that we are not doing the job right. We have not had a notice of violation issued to us since 2012. So we feel that the operation is efficient and it's effective, and that in turn leads to the third point, which is tipping fee stability. Tipping fee is in effect the fee that you pay to bring your waste down to the Franklin County landfill. We have not had an increase in that fee since 2012. In fact, we reduced it a few years ago. So we're operating this efficiently, and we're also diversifying our revenue stream. As you may know, we are now collecting the methane gas that normally would be flared on site. Through a public-private partnership with RE Energy, they are cleaning it, they are putting it in a Columbia gas line, and they are selling it. For those sales, SWACO gets a royalty. In 2020, we estimate that we will receive $7 million in royalties. This is revenue that we did not have 6 years ago. And because of that, that's 10% of our revenue. It puts less pressure to increase the tipping fee. It also produces cleaner air in the Grove City area because we're not flaring it. And it's creating private sector jobs. So it's a good win-win all the way around. So moving on to diversion, we cannot have, just doing the transition from disposal, having a good landfill and having 43 years of space is great. But to have a solid waste system in Franklin County, we've got to complement that by diverting more away from the landfill and diverting it back into productive use. And so that's where we get into the diversion. If you look at our stats in diversion, and again, that's waste reduction, reuse, recycling, and composting, we had a rate of 32% in 2014. That has gone up to 50% in 2018. Commissioners, this is one of the highest rates in the Midwest. This is something to be proud of and something to market as we try to attract new businesses and others into our region. We have a stretch goal to get, in the next 12 years, to get to 75% diversion, which again would result in a lot of benefits, both economic and environmental, because we do diversion for three primary reasons. One, it makes the landfill last longer because we're putting less into the landfill. Two, it's environmentally the right thing to do. It helps and improves our environment by diverting more. And three, there's economic opportunity in that waste stream. And that's something new for a solid waste authority to be thinking about, and we're going to come back to that economic development equation in a minute. So those are the three reasons why we focus on diversion. So let me talk to you about what we do to divert more. We have four key anchors in that. It's education, it's infrastructure, it's policies, and it's market growth and development. In education, we have our Recycle Right campaign that is not only going out to all of our communities. You may have received the magnets for your refrigerators to telling you what's the right thing to do, but we're extending that into school recycling programs. You may have read yesterday in the Columbus Dispatch about a food recycling program in the schools. That's SWACO'S program in collaboration with Kroger and with the World Wildlife Federation. And we're combining that also with a lot of educational recycling as well. For infrastructure, we can do all the recycling we want, but if we don't have the infrastructure in place to process it, to collect it, then we're going to have challenges meeting our goals. I'll give you an example on that. SWACO, on behalf of the majority, 2/3 of all of our 41 governmental jurisdictions in Franklin County, we negotiate and bid the hauling rates, the hauling contracts for the waste, for the yard waste, and for the recycling. And what we're doing in that is not only providing economic efficiencies, but we also put into the last bid where communities had the option to purchase their recycling carts. So what we had was 38,000 households in Franklin County went from these carton containers that you can hold in your hand to 64-gallon recycling carts. So it's creating a lot more recycling. That's about infrastructure. It's also giving these communities, by owning their carts, greater leverage in their next bidding contract. Supportive, informed in policies, we've created the first public policy agenda for SWACO, and we really want it to evolve into a reference point for communities if they want to do more recycling in their communities. What could they do about zoning laws? What could they do about buildings codes? What could they do about greater accessibility? Within our policies, we also give a lot of grants out. One of the grants we give is the Franklinton Farms. If you go to our website, we did a video of some of these grants, and you'll see Nick on the video. We gave them a grant to buy a composting machine because that really relates to redoing the soil and keeping some of those materials from going into the landfill. And then last, that I want to spend a little bit of time on, and the fourth key anchor is market growth and development. If there's not a market, if there's not a buyer for that plastic bottle that you're putting in the waste stream, then it in effect becomes very expensive garbage because it means it's been collected separately, it's been processed. But having markets for those materials is very key. You may have read about the problems in China and the resulting issues in the United States. China used to be the #1 receiver of all recycled materials. More than half went to China. 3 years ago, China cut off their supplies completely. We went from millions and millions of tons to zero. That created a real disruption in the markets. And so you had many communities, particularly those on the East Coast, that their recycling was going to China, it was being sold, and all of a sudden they didn't have any markets to sell it to, and thus communities quit doing recycling, and many recycling companies went out of business. In the Midwest, we're different. We have good markets in the Midwest. In fact, for residential, which Rumpke processes, Rumpke has markets now for every piece of material that goes into the recycling containers that we're putting in the right things. I'll give you an example. In Wapakoneta, a paper mill was built, Pratt Industries. They are begging for as much recycled cardboard as they can get their hands on. So our markets are strong. The other problem with the markets right now is the price for the commodities is at historic lows. So we're going through a cycle there, a business cycle that's tough, but you can feel good that our recycling here is strong, will continue to grow, and we're very pleased with those efforts. When we look at how we do diversion, we really start with knowing what's in the waste stream and then determining what of those materials have the greatest market value, what price can we get for those, and how much does it cost to get it out of the waste stream. If it costs $5 a ton to get it out of the waste stream, but we can only sell it for $3 a ton, we're not going to do it. This information is specific to Franklin County, and this information is only 6 months old. We actually hired a firm that looks in garbage cans, our landfill, transfer stations, commercial properties. And what they came up with was that 76% of the material going into landfill today could be recycled. And what you see on the right are those components of what's in that. So I mentioned cardboard. You'll see that cardboard is 10% of what's going into landfill now. So what we are working on are programs and ways that we can get that cardboard out of the waste stream, whether before point of contact or once SWACO gets it. I'll give you another example, is food waste that we've been talking about. It's no coincidence that food waste is the largest amount of materials being wasted, thrown in the landfill, and therefore we have a food waste initiative. There's been accolades about food waste to Commissioner O'Grady, but they're well-deserved. It was Commissioner O'Grady who had the vision in not only setting up the local food action plan, but to say that food waste and rescue is an important component of that plan. It's not the driving component. The driving component is about nutrition and food access. But through food waste, you can rescue and serve a lot of needs with that. So just using our examples of the other things, this is what we're doing in the Food Waste Initiative. We have a consortium of 80 different people representing all kinds of commercial, residential involved in that. We're getting ready to launch a website and a whole advertising campaign about how you can save food waste. For infrastructure, we're undertaking a composting feasibility study because we need a good and nearby composting facility. And then we're doing the supportive grants and doing a lot more in the market growth and development. The market growth and development for the food waste, though, is somewhat unique because it's more than just an economic equation, it's a social equation. If we can do that food and rather than putting it into the landfill, can give it back to families, do a food rescue, that is a great social benefit to our community as well. And that leads into the broader question of economic development. One of our principles of SWACO is how do we leverage the waste stream for economic benefit, because we feel there is economic benefit in it. And there are very few solid waste districts or authorities around the country that are focusing in on that way. Why are we focused in on that way? Because we did an economic impact study, and it showed in our region there are 372 businesses employing 5,000 employees, the payroll of 234, and a direct annual benefit of $1.3 million. Recycling is big business. And when you recycle more, you're not only helping to extend the life of the landfill and helping the environment, you're also supporting this growth in this industry in our region. So what's our strategy for doing economic development? One is a traditional business retention and expansion program. We want to talk to those 372 businesses, and we're going to do that in conjunction with collaboration and leadership from all of our community economic development organizations and those economic development professionals. Jim Schimmer and his team has been integral to this effort. We also want to attract businesses. There are a lot of businesses growing out there, are doing new things in business on sustainability and recycling. We want to attract those businesses to Franklin County. We want to show them that there's where there's market strength here and there's opportunity here. Let me give you an example. Procter & Gamble has announced a corporate sustainability goal, but by the year 2030, all of their product will be in packaged containers that are made with recycled materials. There are companies starting up now. There are manufacturers that are expanding their operation to meet that Procter & Gamble need. We had one of them come to visit us. It's a Southern Ohio startup operation. They want to know whether we could provide them directly a certain type of resin plastic that they need in our waste stream. At that time, we didn't know whether we had it because we had to do this study to better understand it. And we're not certain how we're going to get it out to them. But if we can do that, that will help an Ohio company. But even more so, if we can do that, we want those companies to locate in Franklin County. And that ties right into startups. We're going to enter a partnership with Rev1. And this was County Administrator Wilson's suggestion to help us with business startups in this area. Again, part of this also is our land development. We have 350 acres on our campus at SWACO that is primed for development. And while we could put in warehouses and retail tomorrow, there's such demand for that. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to develop this property in such a way that impacts the waste stream, that gives us great credibility, and enables us to market our region for what we're doing. The example under that is when Amazon selected Columbus as one of its 20 cities. One of the questions that Amazon asked and they wanted to know is, what is your rate of recycling? What is your commitment to sustainability? What are you doing about the environment? Because that, to Amazon, was an important corporate cultural goal. It was also a workforce attraction goal. They knew they had to attract the workforce, and that workforce is increasingly interested and environmental, recycling, and issues related to that. We are in a position to take advantage of all that because of the story we have and the partnerships that are going on. I really want to acknowledge and thank Jim Schimmer. Jim saw this economic development opportunity years before anybody else did, and so he's been great value, he and his whole team. But that's what we're doing in economic development. So in summary, Commissioners, the Cliff Note versions of what I've been saying is, first and foremost, we are running that landfill, which is an important community asset, as efficiently and as effectively as we can, trying to make it last as long as we can, and we're doing that through diverting as much as we can. And we want to divert what we're doing for economic opportunity. Our agendas precisely and purposefully align with the County Commissioner's agenda. County Commissioners are all about economic development. That's a part of our strategy. You're taking the lead in terms of addressing the poverty issues. Our component of the Food Waste Initiative for Food Rescue helps support that. And you're all about efficiencies and effectiveness of government, and that's what we're about as well. We appreciate the partnership, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and give you this update.
So Ty, we have a question for you. We do a lot more recycling in our house than we do trash. For the kids, the job of doing recycling is a bigger job than taking out the trash. We also have started to compost. Composting is an interesting thing. I don't want to, we have enough, I live in a township, so it's an inner ring township, but I live in a township. But I live in an area we have enough critters living in our little half acre or quarter acre lot. We have a lot of deer, we have a lot of raccoons, we have a lot of skunks, we have a lot of stuff. I don't want to attract any more than I already have. So we take our compost every Saturday instead of composting on my property, which I have neighbors who do that. I prefer not to do that. So we compost, and it's easy to do. And taking it someplace every Saturday is really not that difficult. But I guess my question becomes, I also have to pay for the privilege of composting. It's not that expensive. It's not a big expense, but it just seems to me that more people would probably compost if they didn't have to pay for it as well. It's easy to do. You go to a farmer's market on a Saturday morning. You pick up a bucket. You sign up. You compost during the week on Saturdays. You drop it off. You get a new bag, and you're back at it again. It's a simple thing. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, and there's an expense to it. It just seems as though we could probably make it even easier for folks if we tried. But I get, and I don't know what SWACO does. This is not a SWACO program, obviously, that we're going through.
Well, it's one we support. In fact, some of those communities and companies we give grants to, we don't give grants to the companies, but if it's a nonprofit, for example, we'll give that. What we're trying to do in the composting to have our goal in food waste is to divert 50% of the food generated. To be able to do that, we're going to have to have a larger scale composting operation within the region, which we don't have now. So our focus is, what is the feasibility of doing that? What kind of company can we attract to do it? And what kind of service would be most convenient for residents and businesses to be able to collect it? At the end of the day, it's still a service. It's a government service, and there's an expense associated with it. But our public opinion polling shows that there are a lot of families that are interested in this, and particularly a lot of companies. Part of what we're doing on the commercial end, remember that 60% of the waste stream is generated by commercial, 40% is residential. We are working on a pilot program with our hospital systems because the amount of food that's generated and what are they doing with it, we've got that going on. You saw in the dispatch the example of the schools. School cafeterias produce a lot of food. So we're really, our first focus is more on the heavy,
No
the
question.
bigger, but for residential, it's all about convenience. Is there a different system that you could have curbside without adding a lot more trucks in a way that makes it convenient to drop it off? That's where our research and that's where our planning is going.
There's no question. I mean, if I'm reducing the food waste in my house by, 90%, that's one thing. But, the commercial food waste is the bigger deal. Getting every hospital, every school, every restaurant in town to do it is a much more important thing. There's no doubt about it. I'm just, it just seems that the business side of the equation seems to be, to me, to be the hang-up. Making it more economical, making it an easier thing for folks to
I
want
think
to do.
that's what we want to do. Ultimately, with recycling or any of these services, there's an expense. And part of this is also a question of what do you want your community to be. There's some communities that have done away with recycling altogether. We feel that's not good for the environment. We also think that they're missing tremendous economic development opportunities by doing that. But there's a price for that. What we try to do for the communities is through our bidding efforts. We don't have to have the communities worry about having the expertise to bid on that. We pay for that, and through that, we give each of the communities a bid package that they can take or reject that saves them money, but also incorporates some of these new techniques in terms of collection, in terms of convenience that we're trying to do. For the schools, for example, we actually have a consortium of 7 school districts that we do their bidding for all their waste and recycling. Can we incorporate a food waste initiative for collection in terms of part of that bid in the future? That's where we want to go with this. We're not quite there yet, but that's the focus, and that, again, ties right into the food waste initiative, for example, in terms of, well, if you're doing that, how much of that can be rescued, and what's the process for rescuing that and then take it someplace else? One of the grants that we gave a grant to Mid-Ohio Food Bank for them to buy a new refrigeration unit, because the more that they can refrigerate, the less it's going to decompose faster and have to go to the landfill. So we've got a logic for how we're approaching these, but there's a lot of initiatives, there's a lot of opportunities. It's driven by economics and also decision makers from a policy standpoint.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on with the agenda. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the October 8th, 2019 general session, February 13th, 2020 briefing session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved.
The engineer.
Resolution number 104-20, resolution accepting the annual bridge inspection report for 2019.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, County Engineer for every resident, every day in Franklin County. The mission of the Franklin County Engineer's Office is to provide for safe and efficient movement of people and goods from place to place by building and maintaining Franklin County's roads and bridges. This leads us right into this first resolution. It is the annual resolution for the bridge inspection, and Franklin County has 368 bridges that we inspect every year. 48 of those bridges are over 100 years old. 106 are over 75 years old. 36 are rated fair. Only 10 are rated poor, and we have no bridges that have failed, are critical, or serious. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
I'll move for approval of 104-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 104-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 105-20, resolution authorizing a contract with Daleen M. Pride Consultant to provide expert consultant services to identify erroneous motor vehicle license registrations in the amount of $20,000.
Commissioners, as stated, this is a professional services contract with Ms. Daleen Pride. Ms. Pride has helped us now for several years look for and find erroneous motor vehicle registration fees, and it simply helps us redirect those fees to Franklin County as they should be.
I'll move approval of 10520.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 105-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 106-20, report second of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation and damages for a portion of the owners on the Alum Creek Drive at Roar Road Improvement Project, Hamilton Township and Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $4,850.
Commissioners, this capital improvement project is in the southeast part of Franklin County at the intersection of Allen Creek Drive and Roar Road. This is a collaborative project that includes Franklin County, City of Columbus, Groveport, Hamilton Township, Madison Township, and Franklin County's Transportation Improvement District. This particular resolution is the second report for right-of-way acquisition, includes one property, and we've been working with the prosecutor's office to begin the appropriations process for this particular property.
Move approval of 10620.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 106-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much.
The auditor.
Resolution number 107-20, resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into rental agreements for the benefit of the county auditor's office to secure space to host informal reviews of property valuations throughout Franklin County in the amount of $50,000.
Good morning, President O'Grady, Commissioner Brown. I am Mike Stenziano, the Franklin County Auditor. Do want to introduce with me today is Rama Abdullahi. She is shadowing me. She's a junior at Ohio State, also works at Nationwide and shared, which I thought Commissioner O'Grady would appreciate. She does intramural softball.
Welcome.
In the outfield.
All right,
Apparently
well-
it's been moving.
Welcome.
Before you today is a resolution that looks to streamline the process of securing locations throughout the county to host members of the public for our informal reviews. This is a triennial update year, and as we go through our process after notifying residents, we want to have places throughout the community where taxpayers will be able to address us through our informal process regarding any concerns they have on our values and educating us on what they think their values should be. For reference, in 2017, during the last informal review process, there were over 18,000 parcels that were discussed with 10,000 residents. So it's a pretty big turnout opportunity and event, and spreading it throughout the county is needed. We believe the best way to continue to provide to the businesses and residents of Franklin County with this superior customer service is to proactively be in neighborhoods and provide support whenever we can. The goal of the resolution is to streamline the process in coordinating with the county administrator on certain rental agreements where the venues might provide additional services beyond space to operate or would need to be added to the county insurance program as in any additional insurance for potentially high volume locations. The auditor's office is working directly with County Administrator Wilson and his staff for this mutually beneficial process. We do appreciate your staff's ongoing commitment and work so we have a quick, streamlined process. We're looking at spaces about 7,000 square feet. Bountiful parking is what my staff described it as, but really a place where people are familiar in their neighborhood, in their community. We'll be out on weekends at the same time. And this will be different and separate from when we'll come back to you for a permanent offsite location with the Urban League as well. So residents during this triennial update can, again, come inform us on the values and we can get to a good place. With that background, we ask for your support.
Move for approval of 10720.
Sounds great. Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 107-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for being here, Rama. The county sheriff.
Resolution number 108-20, resolution authorizing the settlement of legal claims brought in the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, General Division, case number 19CV3802.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, Director of Administrative Services, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution is a settlement for $6,000 from an accident that occurred several years ago, where a passenger vehicle was rear-ended by a detective for the Sheriff's Office. If any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 10820.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 108-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thanks. The Office on Aging.
Resolution number 109-20, resolution authorizing 2 grant agreements to provide caregiver support services for Franklin County Senior Options in the amount of $206,665.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Amy Funk, Interim Director of Office on Aging. This resolution authorizes 2 grant agreements to provide caregiver support services. Projects in this category recognize the important role played by the individuals who take care of seniors, thereby preventing and/or delaying the institutionalization of their charges for as long as possible. The projects funded under this category aim to help caregivers of older adults by linking them with resources and support that will resolve problems arising from taking care of elderly charges. Pending any questions, I respectfully ask for your approval of this resolution.
I'll move approval of 10920.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 109-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 110-20, resolution authorizing 5 grant agreements to provide small group transportation services for Franklin County Senior Options in the amount of $314,844.
This resolution authorizes 5 grant agreements to provide small group transportation. The provision of small group transportation enables older adults to live an active, involved lifestyle without compromising their dignity, pride, or self-worth. While medical appointments take priority, trips for personal errands are accommodated whenever possible. Group outings provide valuable social interaction with peers and open a world outside the client's own home. I'd like to now introduce our guest speaker, Bill Owens, Executive Director of Clintonville Beachwald Community Resources Center, to speak about their small group transportation program.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Good morning, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner O'Grady. My name is Bill Owens, and I'm the director of the Clintonville Beachwald Community Resources Center. We're one of the 5 settlement houses here in Columbus and serving all of Franklin County, and the lead agency for the Columbus Federation of Settlements Senior Small Group Transportation Program that serves older adults throughout Franklin County because of our county commissioner's leadership. We appreciate that. Throughout this collaboration of settlement houses and other partners, we have been providing seniors with weekly grocery trips and monthly social outings for over 14 years. This program enables us to provide crucial aid to those older adults who otherwise are unable to get to the grocery store or out of the house to socialize, and they do that for free. Without this help, our older adults who do not drive their own vehicles would have to rely on cab rides, neighbors, relatives, or getting their basic needs from the closest convenience store. Without this program, many of our older neighbors would remain isolated in their homes without contact with their peers or an opportunity to leave the house to visit a cultural attraction or eat lunch out with friends. As an example, prior to getting our help funded through Franklin County Office on Aging Senior Options Grant Program, the seniors that lived at the Stone Ridge Apartments had to push their grocery carts through the snow in the wintertime to get their groceries until one of their staff came to us seeking help so that they could get to and from the grocery store. It's hard for us to imagine, those of us that have cars and the ability to get around, not being able to get to the grocery store on a weekly basis to get those things that we need. In addition to weekly grocery trips to the grocery store, some of our seniors make monthly trips to the food pantry to get needed help to combat food insecurity. Our seniors are able to congregate and visit libraries, recreation centers, support groups, attend funerals, participate in Mount Carmel Healthy Living classes, events at Life Care Alliance's Carrie's Cafe, YMCA, Silver Sneakers, and programming throughout our own settlement houses that we have for seniors to make their lives better. We're now transporting seniors from 67 different sites across the county, and I've got a list here to share with you all. So our partners in this program are, of course, ourselves, the Clintonville Beachwald Community Resources Center, Gladden Community House, St. Stephen's Community House, Central Community House, Canal Winchester Human Services, and a recently started up minority-owned business, Around Town Express. So with that, folks are able to get to and from the grocery, get the things they need, meet up with their friends, and not be isolated at home. The Franklin County Office on Aging funding makes it all possible. With this reliable support, we have also been able to leverage funds from other sources to increase our response to the demand for transportation in Franklin County. With help from the Osteopathic Heritage Foundation in 2018 to 2019, we've received $123,000 of help, and in 2019, we received $50,000 in support from the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. Even with this great help, we still have a huge unmet need. We're frequently getting calls from senior housing facilities looking for this kind of help to get to and from the grocery store. Currently, we are awaiting response from WARPC to increase their support for our work in 2020 to keep pace with this last year's accomplishments. So this last year, we transported, this is unduplicated, 3,023 Franklin County residents that are 60 and over on 1,294 grocery trips and 1,035 social trips. Thank you for keeping our loved ones safe, active, and living well in Franklin County through the Franklin County Senior Options Grant Program. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
What you do makes a difference in the quality of life for our seniors. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It really does.
It's a great program.
I'll move approval of 11020.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 110-20 has been adopted.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Resolution number 111-20, resolution authorizing 4 grant agreements to provide volunteer services for Franklin County Senior Options in the amount of $241,208.
These projects enhance quality of life by utilizing seniors or non-seniors as volunteers to help seniors in need. Projects range from using retired seniors as volunteers to help other seniors find employment, to recruiting adults who become volunteer guardians of mentally incapacitated indigent seniors, to using senior companions to provide peer support to homebound frail seniors. I'd like to now introduce our guest speakers. Tamika Martin, Program Director for the Foster Grandparent Program, and Tony Parks, Program Director for the Senior Companion Program. Both of our guest speakers are with Catholic Social Services.
Good morning. As mentioned, my name is Tamika Martin. I serve as the Program Director for the Foster Grandparent Program at Catholic Social Services. For the past 3.5 years, low-income seniors have been given the opportunity to work with their community by providing at-risk students in pre-K through 5th grade with tutoring and mentoring services. The goal of the Foster Grandparent Program is to ensure that pre-K students are prepared for school and students in grades K through 5 do better in school as a result of being paired with the grandparent figure that will offer additional support in the classroom while encouraging students to do their best. Since the program's inception, 92 seniors have served 736 students across 2 Head Start programs, Columbus City Schools, Groveport Madison Elementary Schools, the Catholic Diocese, and United Preparatory Academy Charter School. To give you an idea of the program's impact, allow me to introduce to you Ms. Welch, a foster grandparent at Oakmont Elementary School. Ms. Welch worked with the boy whose family had moved from Africa for only a month. When she would try to work with him, he was always interested in drawing pictures. One day, Ms. Welch asked him why he always wanted to draw, and he told her, "My pictures are my words." He began drawing pictures of his life in Africa for Ms. Welch. He eventually started to open up to her, talking to her more about why he created the pictures and the area where he lived. One day, the little boy drew a picture of his school and classroom in Africa. His art was of children in his class and his teacher teaching them with her infant wrapped around her. He shared how difficult it was for him to concentrate because the baby would cry and would fuss during their lesson. Miss Welch asked the boy if he would like to see real pictures of his home, and he said yes. The two of them logged onto their computer and searched the name of his village, and sure enough, pictures of his town and people that he actually knew popped up. There was even a picture of his school with his teacher and her baby visible. He excitedly told Miss Welch, "That's my school, that's my school." Miss Welch shared this with his present teacher, and she thought it would be a wonderful idea if the boy could give a little presentation to the class about his life in Africa. Miss Welch helped him pull pictures from the internet as well as his drawings. He told the class about his life, his school, and his village, and he even noticed that, which helped him pull pictures from his she helped him pull pictures from the internet as well as his drawings. He told the class about his life, village, and his school with the teacher and her baby. Just a few days later, Miss Welch returned to school to find that the little boy was gone. She inquired with the teacher and was told that the boy's father had decided to move them back to Africa on short notice. Miss Welch was sad, but inspired by the boy, who told her, "My pictures are my words." Miss Welch and the other foster grandparents who would not be able to share these types of stories without the support of the Senior Options Grant Program. On behalf of Catholic Social Services and the Foster Grandparent Program staff, I would like to thank Commissioners O'Grady and Brown, as well as the Senior Options Program, for your continued support. If you are interested in learning more about the Foster Grandparent Program or would like to meet one of our wonderful seniors, you are invited to attend one of our monthly in-services that we hold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Tony Parks, and I'm the Director of the Senior Companion Program at Catholic Social Services. In 2018, AARP did a study, and what they came out to find is that social isolation and loneliness is equivalent to a senior sitting at home and smoking 15 cigarettes per day. As a dual beneficiary program, the Senior Companion Program provides isolation prevention for both our companions and our clients. And we do this by allowing a low-income senior to be paired with a homebound, socially isolated senior within the community. And we allow our companions, what we consider as volunteers as well, to go out and they'll do weekly visits with their clients. And on these visits, they're allowed to take their clients out to the grocery store. They can take their client to the bank. They can take their client to the library. They might find a dance class at the YMCA that they both enjoy, and so they can go out and do that. What we really create is a partnership between the companion and the client that sometimes lasts over 20 years. We have companions in our program. Actually, we have a companion in our program who has actually been matched with the client for the past 24 years. And they really, really enjoy their time that they're spending together. In 2019, we sent out a survey to all our clients and all our companions. I'd like to share some of the feedback and some of the quotes that we got back about the program. And they're as follows. "We've never had a bad visit. We always have a good time together. The program is really, really worth it. I thank God for my companion. I love being a senior companion because it's nice to meet people. Just to be wonderful to become friends. My companion brightens my day. She's like a sister to me. We have so many things in common. It's amazing. I have a blast with my clients. We are so happy to be matched together. I do not regret one day since I met my senior companion." And I would like to say, as Tamiko said, all this would not be possible without the support of the Senior Options Grants Program. And in closing, I would like to invite all the commissioners and anyone in attendance to come out to attend one of our monthly in-service trainings where our seniors are able to kind of be updated and refreshed on new aging trends so they can always provide their clients with the best and the most recent trends on aging. And so we hold our in-services every Wednesday. We're at the Jewish Family Center. Our senior companion in-service will start about 11 o'clock. So again, I would like to invite anyone out who would like to come out to meet these volunteers, just to say hey, say thank you, and say thank you for your service. In 2019, we had 106 senior companions participate in our program, and they provided service to 462 clients. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'll move approval of 11120.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 111-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 112-20, working agreement between Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District and the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department in the amount of $44,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Brown, Planning Administrator for the Economic Development Planning Department, joined today by Director Jennifer Fish of the Soil and Water Conservation District. This resolution is to authorize a working agreement with the Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District to provide stormwater and natural resource services to help ensure that new development protects water quality. The Soil and Water Conservation District will be compensated $44,000 for the services, and the working agreement will be for a one-year period. This will be the 13th year that the county and the Soil and Water Conservation District have formally entered into an agreement for these services. And pending any questions and following a few remarks from Director Fish, staff requests your approval of this resolution.
I just wanted to take a minute and thank the county commissioners in economic development and planning for this ongoing opportunity. I didn't realize it was 13 years, which is great. To provide natural resource and stormwater services. Just to give you an idea, last year in unincorporated Franklin County, we reviewed 74 lot splits, variances, and development plans for natural resource opportunities and conducted 346 construction site inspections and provided 27 residents with natural resource assistance. We also do special projects that I picked out a couple I thought would be of interest to you guys. We do have a mini grant program that is funded through donations and outside programs that has a deadline coming up of February 28th. And here we provide $2,000 grants to nonprofits, local governments, and schools to do native plantings, stream plantings, invasive species removals, rain gardens, and different projects. Last year we funded Clintonville to do 2 native plantings. Also, a project we've been working on in Jefferson Township, we've inserted 18 lightweight, what we call stream inserts, that we're able to install affordably into the streams. And we're working with Ohio EPA, and we're finding this may be a good solution for helping improve water quality, stream erosion, and habitat into our heavily impacted headwater streams in urban areas. So that's a great project too that we've been working on. It's with this partnership that we're able to identify these opportunities, protect water quality, stream corridors, wooded wetlands, and reduce flooding, as well as assist with stormwater permit compliance. So again, thank you for your support.
Thank you. I'll move approval of 112-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 112-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 113-20, resolution authorizing a contract extension with Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated for floodplain review in the amount of $25,000.
As stated, this resolution is to authorize a contract extension with Stantec Consulting Services to provide floodplain review services for the unincorporated areas of Franklin County. A request for qualifications was issued in 2016 for a floodplain review consultant, and Stantec Consulting Services was awarded the contract in 2017 by resolution number 52-17. The contract was for a one-year period with the option to extend for 4 additional one-year periods. The current contract extension request will be the 3rd allowable contract extension and will be in effect from February 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2021. The contract extension amount has been budgeted and is not to exceed $25,000. And again, any questions, staff requests your approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 113-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 113-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 114-20, resolution authorizing an economic development grant agreement with the Columbus Franklin County Finance Authority to continue the administration of the Energy Works Columbus Region Energy Loan Fund in the amount of $1 million.
Morning, Commissioners. James Schimmer, Director of Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is, in fact, a $1 million authorization for the continuation of the administration of the Energy Works program. As you'll remember, we started the Energy Works program as part of the SmartWorks suite of programs 5 years ago. This is the last year that we are looking to fund this program, but I'm really pleased to tell you that looking back 5 years ago, we've met the results that we were really trying to get at, and very, very pleased about the role SmartWorks has had. Again, this goes to the whole concept of innovation in government. 5 years ago when we started, we asked our colleagues what program did they think they needed some help with to be able to make some buildings more efficient and reasonable in the marketplace. And one of the things they came back with was very clearly energy efficiency and HVAC. We've been able to partner with the Columbus-Franklin County Finance Authority to continue this program, and I'm happy to report that we've got $7 million in loans out currently, 18 loans specifically, and annually a $1.2 million savings in energy. So the program has really done what it was supposed to do. The best thing, however, is that we're ready to move on. And we've stood this program up as we said we were going to do. And I wanted to turn the program over for just a minute to Jean Carter-Ryan, who runs the Columbus-Franklin County Finance Authority, to talk about 3 specific projects to illustrate what we've been able to do.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, commissioners. Again, I was here 5 years ago when we were talking about this program, and Jim just talked about some of our results. The great thing about it is you make an investment in, and it's not one time. The money keeps recycling into the community, and how apropos that here we're talking today at the same time we heard from Ty about what's happening at SWACO and their whole sustainability issues. This is yet another investment from you all that helps us really become a sustainable community. So it's really an exciting time, I think, to be talking about energy and taking that money that you invested in us and our ability to leverage that into $20 million worth of loans. So it's been really great reducing energy use in the county. So there are 3 projects that we think are kind of fun. You know, energy is a lot like infrastructure. It's vital, but it's not exactly sexy. And people are like, oh yeah, energy, great. It's great. It's great stuff. And so some of the projects that we're working on are not just your typical envelope building energy kinds of, savings that way, but like the Orchard Knoll project, which is in Columbus, just on the northern part of Franklin County. One of the things that they did with a part of their money is that they invested in an electrical vehicle charging stations, and you can see there's a picture of that. So we gave them $1.2 million. This was just a piece of that 1.2, but it's starting to show, again, the electrification, what's happening, SmartWorks and everything else that's coming together, and how there's the synergy around this. Another project that we helped fund with some of your funding is the Trivium project, again, on the other end of the county in Grove City. So just under $450,000. This is a great project because it's a new build, but they're reducing energy use as a result of using our funds. So again, it's very innovative types of financing that we're able to roll out there. And then lastly, I wanted to just showcase the Wasserstrom headquarters. So they're in Whitehall. You can see here's a picture of their roof. They're doing solar. We need to be doing more solar and alternative energy in Central Ohio. And we think with this program that we're really able to do that. So again, it's just an exciting time to be part of energy. In fact, our Energy Special Improvement District has got one of the most active energy financings in the country. The National Association is actually is highlighting us. In fact, I want to call out that the National Conference for Energy is coming to Columbus at the end of February, end of March, early April. So again, we're part of a national wave and something that we're really particularly proud of that would not have happened without your investments. So I want to again say thank you for all your assistance with this.
This is great. This is the way, we really took an investment and it's now $20 million, which is an incredible return on what we invested. And we've really changed this community in that small investment that we made, relatively small investment that we made. And with your leadership, Jean, we've really turned this community into looking really at smart energy and green energy in a different way, with the business community really doing their projects using this money to do some smart projects on their buildings, which is great.
And one of the things that we're seeing that may be coming in the short term is residential pace. So as residents want to improve, maybe put a solar panel on their
Sure.
roof or do something a little different, there's going to be some opportunity for that as well.
You know, years back when we started the whole suite, we had infrastructure works and people works and energy works. And, you know, we had this big, you know, to do about infrastructure works and really pushed it hard. And we had people works and we really kind of pushed that hard. And we thought, you know, those were the things that, you know, and energy works was just kind of sleepy and, you know, it wasn't really, you know, there wasn't really any push around it. And, you know, couldn't get it really happening. And, you know, here we are, we kind of ended infrastructure works and couldn't get anybody interested in energy infrastructure works. And people works didn't really happen. And, you know, here we are all this time later. Infrastructure or energy works is still around $20 million later, you know, and it's working. And the other two kind of went by the wayside and we couldn't get anybody, you know, couldn't make them work, couldn't get anybody excited about it. But this one's still here. So it's good stuff.
Thank you. Hopefully the SmartWorks program has done some good work in general, and we're very pleased about the work that we've done. But I will mention to you that, and for the taxpayers in Franklin County, this is a revolving loan program.
Yeah.
Not that those other programs didn't do good stuff at the time. I don't mean that they didn't, but this, they, you know,
This is one that really emerged, I think.
right.
I think the timing was everything with Energy Works. I think the time was right. And the local businesses that took advantage of it really were able to do some really wonderful programs and projects with it, as we saw just a couple of examples.
Right.
But I just want to thank you for the investment that you made, and hopefully you'll agree that it's paying back and we're moving forward on it. So thank you very much.
Thanks
you.
again, really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
We need a motion. I'll move for approval of 11420.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 114-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Resolution number 115-20, review of petition to annex 9.769 acres, more or less, from Hamilton Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-01-20.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Assistant Director, Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 9.769 acres from Hamilton Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 1080 Obetz Road, that's north of Obetz, and Interstate 270, west of Lockbourne Road, south of East Williams Road, and east of Parsons Avenue. Petition was filed by agent and attorney Jackson B. Reynolds III of Smith and Hale. Jack Reynolds is in attendance if you have any questions on behalf of the owner Zion Evangelical Lutheran Church. 79.8% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 0181-2020 on January 27th, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
Anything to add, Jack?
I'll move approval for 11520.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 115-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 116-20, resolution expressing the intention of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners to accept management and control of court-appointed special advocates of Franklin County into the Office of Justice Policy and Programs effective July 1st, 2020.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs, and with me today is Kevin Greenwood, Executive Director of CASA of Franklin County. Commissioners, the resolution before you expresses the intent of this board to accept management and control of court-ordered special advocates, CASA of Franklin County, on July 1st, 2020, incorporated into our office. I'm going to step and let Kevin talk a little bit about CASA and the work that they do, and then I'll come back and explain more about the purpose for this resolution.
Good morning, Commissioners, everyone.
Good morning.
We've heard a lot this morning of inspiration and sustainability and investment, and I'll continue with the theme. For the past 29 years, court-appointed special advocates of Franklin County have trained volunteers to serve as guardians ad litem in the Franklin County court system for abused and neglected children. This past year, 242 CASA volunteers served a record 882 children. Unfortunately, we all know that that's only a percentage of the abused and neglected children currently in the system. This proposed transaction between Franklin County and CASA is something that is far more than just an investment in a program. It truly is an investment in the children of Franklin County, and particularly those abused and neglected children. And on behalf of all of us who work day in and day out at CASA, I'd like to thank the Franklin County Board of Commissioners and also the CASA Board of Trustees for working so collaboratively on this to make this venture a possibility. And thank you so much for your past support and your support going ahead.
So Commissioners, currently CASA relies fairly heavily on grant funding, both from the county and from other sources, such as the Victims of Crime Act federal funding. These other sources are not expected to remain viable or necessarily reliable in the future, thus risking CASA's long-term financial sustainability. CASA employees also, because they work for a small 501c3, are not eligible to participate in the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System, and they are also not eligible to buy into the county's benefit program. So they must choose from a less robust and far more expensive plan that leads to higher turnover, and that's more instability for the volunteers and for the children that they serve. So in order to provide a long-term stability for the organization and the staff, the Board of Directors of CASA and this Board of Commissioners agreed that absorbing CASA into the county structures to the benefit of all parties, and especially to those vulnerable children served. Incorporating them into the Office of Justice Policy and Programs dovetails well with the work that we already do in the realm of domestic and intimate partner violence through our Violence Against Women Act and other funding. This will bring all of family violence together under sort of one roof, if you will, within our department, and open up different avenues for us to seek additional funding from grants and other sources. And Kevin will be coming on, of course, we wouldn't dare lose him. He will be coming on to be the deputy director, and we will move the Violence Against Women Act, domestic violence, intimate partner stuff over under Kevin and create our own division of survivor services based on that. So Commissioners, this resolution simply expresses your intention to go forward with this and instructs me to take all necessary planning and begin the arrangements that are necessary with county administration, human resources, benefits, the prosecuting attorney's office, and others to assure a smooth transition on July 1st, 2020 with no interruption of service to our clients.
I think this makes a great deal of sense, and I was talking to a couple of the juvenile and domestic judges, and they are excited for this and for the stability that this will bring to CASA and for the children that are served. So unless there's further comments or questions, I'll move approval of 11620, and thank you both for the work that you've done to get us this far.
Great stuff. Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 116-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Purchasing.
Resolution number 117-20. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $4,902,057.90.
Commissioners, good morning. Chris Johnston representing Megan Perry Balanier and Marlise Wicker this morning. The resolution before you seeks approval of 133 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week's small and emerging business enterprise vendors include 31 eligible purchase orders totaling $281,000. These are purchase orders for goods and services that have a higher likelihood of participation by small and emerging business enterprises. And of those purchase orders, 20 were awarded to certified business enterprises in the following categories:
8 for women business enterprises, 6 for minority business enterprises, 5 for small and emerging business enterprises, and 1 to a disadvantaged business enterprise. And these includes goods and services totaling $227,160.90, and that is 66% of the eligible PO volume and 81% of the eligible PO dollar value. And pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
I'll move approval of 11720.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 117-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dean, are there any journalizations?
One, Commissioner. Case number ANX-04-20, an expedited Type 2 annexation petition, ANX-04-20, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on February 11th, 2020. The petition is requesting to annex 4.0 acres, more or less, from Mifflin Township to the city of Columbus. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on March 17th, 2020. Site address is 1835 Stelter Road, PID number 190-003162, and an unaddressed Stelter Road address of PID number 190-003489.
Thank you. That concludes our business for Tuesday, February 18th. We will see everybody next week. I should.